Hey y'all, I just want to make the shortest video ever. I want to talk just a second about eating the hyphen and some of my thoughts on it. So number one, when we look at this is probably not a traditional narrative like the one that you're going to write. So go ahead and probably say to you probably said to yourself, well, this is not what I'm going to write. Well, but it does have some really neat kind of narrative perspective, and so that's the reason I made you read this one. So I want to just tell you kind of what I thought about it. I think it has a nice hook. I wanted to keep reading. And then I thought about the tone, because tone is important because it has a lot to do with reflection, and then it just really has a lot to do with everything. So I said when I looked at this, I thought the tone was pretty lighthearted, and it makes sense because, I mean, it's pretty funny for a while, even though I do think it does get a little bit deeper, and I think she still keeps that kind of light tone. So she does that throughout. I think she does a great job with description. And if we look at this little spot right here where she describes in great detail the dumplings, I'm like, oh, that's great. So there's that. And then I also want to talk about some of the description that she points out is, even though she has this kind of like snobby idea of dumplings, of course they come from, they're made in their freezer dumplings, so I always thought that was kind of funny. So then I moved on. I do think this is kind of, the way she eats them, I said, is certainly different, which I really like. I really like her kind of voice on that one. Anyway, and then the thing that's kind of interesting to me, and this is what I said, is that right here, this is really where the meat and potatoes, pardon the pun, is where the narrative starts, and where we actually kind of get to the point and where she starts talking about what this is about. And obviously we start to realize that her identity is all caught up in the way that she eats a dumpling. And so we have her American identity, which is the fork, the ketchup, and then her Chinese identity, which is the dumpling, the chopsticks. And so she has to have all of that to eat this dumpling. And so we have this really nice picture about how she feels as a Chinese American. Okay? And then I think there's a lot of things that are really good about this one. And we talk about this a lot, but honesty. And so one of the greatest little spots, and I marked it here, but I also have my written copy in front of me too, just in case you're like, what is she looking at? And so where she says, yet here I am, eating my dumplings with ketchup and a fork, unceremoniously, quite literally butchering my dumplings before I can eat them. I think that's really interesting because it's just, she realizes that she's doing it weird, but she does it anyway, and I think that's great because that's just who she is. And so then I actually started thinking about it, and I was like, okay, what is her thesis? And I really think her thesis is here. Bottled up entirely in this entirely strange ritual is my status as a Chinese American. And I was just like, that's it. On the head. Boom. That's what she's talking about. And I thought, like, then we go into how she doesn't really fit into either world completely. And so, and when I say that, she says she looks different. And she didn't know many Chinese people in like her neighborhood. And then two, she says she doesn't feel like she fits in Chinatown either. So it's kind of interesting there. And so I marked a couple places that I thought were like good, but I want to talk about kind of the end. And so I have this list here, things I really, really liked and things that I was like, So love the content. I just think what she has to say is really great. I think she's super honest. I think the tone is good, and I think she has a great deal of description in here. Now, some things that kind of, when I was reading it, kind of annoyed me. Number one, it took a while to get to the point, and I was like, I just thought the first page could have been a little bit shorter. Okay? And because it wasn't a traditional narrative, I wasn't really feeling much rising action. And so that's another thing. And so I'm kind of trying to think about what are the things that we look for in here. And I don't think there's any dialogue, but I don't know that that matters. Okay, so that's really all I have to say about it, but I wanted to show you how it fit into like our idea of a narrative, and I'm going to keep doing that. So, y'all have a great day. Bye.